everyone, welcome back to my channel. This channel is about all things insomnia, how to overcome it, and get the sleep that you desperately need. Today, we're going to talk about hyperarousal. If you have chronic insomnia, then you have some level of hyperarousal that is keeping you awake at night. And today, I'm going to teach you how to lower your hyperarousal so that you can start to sleep more. And for those of you who don't know what hyperarousal is, because I know I didn't when I had insomnia, I really like this definition by a psychotherapist named Jenny Nurick. I'm going to read it out loud, but the dictionary definition and all the official definitions are so sciencey and hard to understand. I really like how she broke it down, so I'm going to read it out loud for you. Arousal is when excessive energy is expressed as anxiety, panic, feeling out of control, and wanting to run away. It is challenging to relax when this happens as our body has gone into fight or flight mode. It is difficult to sleep or digest when we are in this state. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, because you have this. If you have chronic insomnia, there is some level of hyperarousal. And a lot of people make mistakes when they're trying to lower their hyperarousal or when they're trying to get more sleep that actually amplify things and increase the hyperarousal, which is only going to make things more challenging. So I am here to teach you how to do the opposite of these mistakes so that you can start to lower your hyperarousal. So let's go ahead and get started with my 5 tips. So tip number 1 is to welcome your hyperarousal, to allow your hyperarousal to happen, to allow it to be there. And I know this sounds crazy because we're talking about how to lower it. So why would we want to welcome it? It doesn't feel good. It's not comfortable. You don't enjoy feeling anxious, so why on earth would we want to just welcome it? Like, come on in, friend. I know, but bear with me. So when your body's in this mode of panic, anxiety, fearing being awake at night, and you're upset and you're frustrated, if you try to force your body to lower the hyperarousal, to ignore it or suppress it, your body's going to amplify things to try to get you to listen. Remember, hyperarousal, it all comes down to our fear-based thoughts. When we fear something, whether it's an actual physical threat or not, and we're trying to escape it, our brain thinks there's danger out there. I've talked about this in the last few videos, probably every single video, that's a little bit during that video. But when we're fearing something and we're trying to escape it, our brain thinks there's danger and is activating that fight or flight system, which leads to all the anxiousness and the panic and the fear. The fear-based thoughts are triggering all this to happen, which raises the hyperarousal level up, which we don't want to do. Now, all of this, all of the anxiety, the hyperarousal, the fight or flight, they're all signals from your brain. Your brain is trying to tell you there's danger and you need to get to safety. I'm trying to keep you safe. And if you try to ignore the anxiety or suppress it or avoid it or try to forcefully, like, I'm going to meditate and deep breathe to make myself relax, you're telling the brain that you're not listening. You're not taking it seriously. So your brain's going to amplify things and make it even more difficult, even more intense, even stronger anxiety, and amplify everything. So then how do we lower the hyperarousal and how do we show the brain that we are listening? We allow it to happen. The more you show it that you're listening, you don't resist it, you don't fight it, and especially don't fear it, your brain's going to realize, oh, she's probably safe. She's not fearing something. She's not trying to escape it. She must be okay. And if you have chronic insomnia, you've been stuck in this fight or flight mode every single day. So it's going to take time for your brain to realize that you're safe. It won't happen in one moment, in one session, or whatever you want to call it, practicing this. It's going to take consistency of practicing all of this. By the way, if it sounds like I'm talking a little funny, I bit my tongue right here. And it hurts when I talk, so it's making me talk a little funny. But Hopefully you can understand me. Like right there, that really hurt. So that was my first tip, and it is the most important, I believe. Not fighting things, not fearing things, not resisting it is what's going to teach your brain that you're safe. The quickest way to teach your brain that you are safe. But my next 4 tips will also help you teach your brain that you're safe so that your hyperarousal level will lower naturally instead of trying to force it or suppress it. It's going to come down naturally until it goes away, and then you are sleeping more and more. That is a better way than trying to forcefully make yourself relax when you don't feel relaxed. Tip number 2 is to practice mindfulness. Now, I'm sure by now everyone has heard of being mindfulness. There's all these mindfulness meditations and mindfulness exercises and articles, health articles about the importance of mindfulness, and with different exercises you can try, even like yoga and everything can help you practice mindfulness. Well, it can help you lower your hyperarousal too. And I don't mean like meditating to try to force the hyperarousal down, force yourself to relax. Not at all. Remember, when we have this hyperarousal and the fight or flight system is being activated, we have this intense fear of being awake at night. This fear and trying to escape sleeplessness is what's triggering that fight or flight system, and your brain thinks there is danger. So mindfulness helps bring us out of that mental state of, I'm scared. What if I don't sleep? What if I'm awake all night? How am I going to get through the day? Am I going to lose my job? Am I going to get some kind of crazy disease? Is this going to happen? It can go on, and our mind can race about all these sorts of things when we have this hyperarousal level up. Well, mindfulness helps take us out of this mental state into the present moment. In the present moment, there is nothing to fear. There's nothing to be scared of. There's no grizzly bear running at us. There isn't a threat to us. We are safe. Fearing the future, something that could happen from not sleeping, is not being in the present moment. So, practicing mindfulness, bringing us into the moment, can help lower those fear-based thoughts that are triggering the hyperarousal. Remember, we're not going to try to suppress or force the hyperarousal down. We're going after the root cause, which all comes down to those fear-based thoughts. So a way that I teach my clients how to be mindful, they can do things like meditation, yoga, things like that. But if you're in the middle of anxiety, feeling anxious, feeling tense, and that hyperarousal is up, you're probably not going to go to a yoga class or pop a yoga video on or try to meditate. I know I've tried when I had insomnia in the middle of anxiety and trying to it's not happening. So what I do is I have my clients in that moment, no matter where they are, to focus on their 5 senses. And you're going to use these senses to notice things around your room. You might have heard of this exercise. It might not be new to you, but it is really powerful to bring you out of that mental state of fear, of frustration, of upset, of overwhelm, and all that. It can bring you back into the moment. And you can practice it for 1 minute. You can practice it for 20 minutes. Or however long you like. There's no limit to it. And it's really powerful for many areas of your life. And it's really simple. So I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to start off with our hearing. So I want you to pause for a moment. I'm not going to talk. And you're going to listen to all the sounds around your room. Okay? Go ahead and do it right now. For me, I hear my air conditioning. I hear baby chickens outside because we have lots of wild chickens here. I hear my breathing. I don't hear a ton of sounds, but that's all I hear. Hopefully you have picked out some sounds on your end. Let's go to eyesight. For some reason I go and then my hands to remember the 5 senses. I don't know, weird. Okay, eyes. So there's some things you can do, like look around your room and find every color of the rainbow. So you look around, I see something red. on that blanket. Orange. I see orange highlighter in this little storage container over there. Same with yellow. I see yellow highlighter, green highlighter. It's helping me. It's all right there. I see a blue book. Purple, I'm sure I have purple somewhere around here too. One of the lights behind me. So you go around and just look for the different colors. You can also look at the different textures and patterns around you. Like the flowers on my pillow right here. I have a weaved basket over there. I could look at the weaving and just pay attention to what it looks like. You can look at anything, whatever, and pay attention of what it looks like, describing it, things like that. So that is really helpful for sight, for nose, for smell. What do you smell right now in your room, wherever you are at? Maybe you smell your pets. Maybe you smell the rain outside. Maybe you smell dust. Fun fact, I was born without a sense of smell, so I don't really know what things smell like, but those are things I would imagine. Maybe you have coffee and you can smell it. Of course, it doesn't smell like anything to me, but I'm sure it would smell like something to you. So practice smelling things in your room. Then you can go to taste. Taste, you can just write now, what does your mouth taste like? I've been drinking coffee, so it has kind of sort of a bitter taste to my mouth. I wouldn't kiss me right now because of the coffee taste. You can go to, if you have chocolate, you can suck on a little piece of chocolate and just, feel the texture and what it tastes like. Taste some food in your refrigerator, grab a strawberry, whatever you like. Just find things to taste or just the taste in your mouth in the moment. And then you can go to touch. Just your butt, how it feels against the seat or your back on the chair, your whole body on a bed. Just sensing that feeling. You can use your hands to touch things this is a glass table, so it's really smooth. I can feel my couch, feel these leaves, fake leaves, because I can't keep plants alive. Just feel things around you. Feel your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, friend. Feel your skin. Just feel anything. Just going around practicing all of that, all these 5 senses, is actually kind of enjoyable. It sounds really silly, but when you're doing it, it just kind of takes you out of that moment and you feel great. So I highly recommend that one. Now, before I move on, if you want to go even deeper into the root cause of this hyperarousal and insomnia and you want to lower the hyperarousal, then click the link in my description box for my free Insomnia Crash Course. You're going to figure out the stuff that you're doing that's triggering the hyperarousal and how to lower it so that you can get more sleep. So click the link in the description box. I'll also put it in the comment section. I'll pin it at the top. So let's move on to tip number 3, which is to use your breath. The breath is so powerful, changing your state of mind, changing your physiology, and so many health benefits. I mean, I can recommend it for every single video, really. I love deep breathing. I love practicing it when I feel anxious, and it can really help you to help pull you out of that anxious state. And remember, we're not trying to force the hyperarousal down. We're not trying to suppress it. So what I want to explain first, when we are anxious, when we are fearing danger, there's a couple things that happen. There are a lot of things that happen, but a couple of them is our breathing speeds up and our muscles tighten. And this is also a signal to the brain that there is danger. And when we're awake at night and we're frustrated and we can't seem to sleep, we're kind of stuck awake and we're upset. Our breathing, because we're getting so upset and frustrated, it speeds up and we're tense. We're not relaxed in Zen mode. No, we're tense. We're breathing. We're upset. We're crying. We're emotional. We're fearful. Well, if you go the opposite direction and you slow that breath down, you relax your muscles, you're showing your brain that you are safe because that's part of the signals that are telling the brain there is danger. So if we practice deep breathing, deep belly breathing. Don't breathe into the chest. Make sure your belly is going out. I know it might not feel attractive pushing your belly out. I know I'm self-conscious of that sometimes. Just deep belly breaths and breathe really slow. And just keep practicing that. You're slowing your breath down, which is showing your brain that you are safe. If there's danger out there, you're not going to be breathing deeply and slowly. So your brain starts to learn that. Also, it's great for practicing mindfulness. When you're focusing on your breath, again, that's bringing you in the moment. Instead of focusing on the five senses, you can focus on your breath. You can focus on watching the air go in and out, or just right where it goes in. Just focused on the moment. Whatever technique you want to use, just focusing on the breath as it goes in and out. And of course, it just feels good. I don't know about you, it just lifts my spirits up. I feel great. If I'm feeling negative or I'm feeling down or something's upsetting me, just taking a few deep breaths really helps bring me out of that state. Tip number 4 is to get some movement. Movement is great, even when you're not feeling anxious, even if it's just a simple little walk or doing some light stretching. But in the middle of feeling anxious, you can take a walk. If it's in the middle of the night, you're probably not going to want to do that. I don't know about the safety in your neighborhood, but you decide for yourself. You can take a walk, you can do some stretching, you can walk around your house. If your house is big enough, you can kind of take laps around, or maybe in your backyard. I don't know. I'm scared of like nighttime creatures outside. But we have centipedes, so I'm scared of those. But anyways, being sidetracked there, you can do some stretching, put on some yoga, whatever it is. You can just, like move your energy around. This helps burn off excess energy. Remember, in that definition, it mentioned excess energy. So you can burn it off. And again, it's another great way to bring you into the moment, that mindfulness practice. You're focused on your stretching, you're walking. It's kind of, if you're walking outside when there's light, you're like looking around at all the trees and the nature and the neighbors and the homes. And it's just kind of bringing you out of that state again and into the moment. And also, as I talked about, the fast breathing and the tight muscles signaling to the brain that you are in danger, walking, moving kind of helps release that muscle tension and loosen you up so that you can send that signal to the brain that you are safe. So instead of being all tight and wound up, you can be loose, stretching, walking, moving, getting that energy out and loosening those muscles up, getting rid of the tension so that you can tell your brain that you are safe. And tip number 5 is to go after the actual root cause of this hyperarousal, which all comes down to those fear-based thoughts. So when we have insomnia, we're awake at night every single night and we're struggling and we feel like crap the next day. We start to really fear being awake. We don't want to have to go through that again. We don't want to feel the way we do during the day and with our productivity and at work. We really want to get the sleep so we can be our best selves. Well, we fear being awake, which is triggering that fight or flight system. That fear comes from those fear-based thoughts. So there are a few things that we can do to lower the fear. I mean, nobody wants to be awake at night. We're always going to have some level of fear. But the more you can move away from the fear, the more you can come to a place of acceptance and allowance. And I always have to say when I say acceptance, I don't mean accepting it and being okay with being awake. Nobody wants to be awake. I'm not expecting you to try to shift your mindset that way. But acceptance is accepting the fact that you can't change the situation right now, that you're having insomnia, you're struggling with it, and you're gonna be awake, and there's nothing you can do to force sleep to happen in the moment. It takes time to teach your brain that you are safe. So a way you can get to a place of acceptance, to allowing and not fearing being awake, is to remove a lot of pressure that you put on yourself to sleep. We have lots of pressure. In my program, The Sleep Makeover, I use the analogy of an onion. We have all these layers of pressure that we place on ourselves when we can't sleep. And it could be things like not being able to get through the day, so you need the sleep. Do good at your work, it's another layer of pressure. Being a good spouse, a good parent, your goals, your dreams, health, all these different things. You add all these layers, tight layers on the onion. If we can start to loosen and remove those layers, the pressure, the more sleep that you're going to get. Sorry, I keep bumping the microphone. So we got to remove the layers, loosen them up, and start to peel them away. And if you go back to my last 2, maybe 3 videos, I can't remember if I talked about it 3 videos ago, I talked about ways to remove the pressure, and there are ways. So I'm not going to go over it again here, but I have another step that can help you. So definitely go back, watch those videos if you really want to remove that pressure. If you feel a lot of pressure to sleep, like that desperation, I need to sleep now, then I highly, highly recommend the last couple of videos, 2 or 3. What I'm going to talk about is reframing those fears and worries, which is basically the same thing, just explained in a different way. You're going to take all those fears, all the fear-based thoughts about insomnia, about being awake at night, about what could happen because you're not sleeping. Just write them all out, journal them all out. I like to make a list of each worry on its own separate line with space below it, because you're going to go back and you're going to reframe those thoughts. Every little thought, you can ask yourself, is this ultimately true? Is this likely to happen? Have I gotten through the day before? Will I likely get through tomorrow? Yes, I will. If you aren't feeling great the next day, you will make it through. You can do things to help yourself feel better. I mean, I feel repetitive from my last few videos, but, practicing extra self-care, resting more, taking breaks as needed, whatever you need to do, taking walks outside, getting fresh air, getting light movement. All of those help you feel a little bit better the next day. Of course, you won't feel like you had a full night's sleep, but it can help you. So one by one, you're going through this list of all these fear-based thoughts. Remember, all these thoughts that you just compiled onto a piece of paper. Those are what's triggering the fight or flight. There's the key right there. All those fear-based thoughts. So if you can go through each one, reframe them, write something that's more realistic, that makes more sense. Like, I'm scared I'm not going to get sleep. Using the same example, I'm scared I'm not going to get sleep, so I don't know how I'm going to get through the day. If I don't get any sleep, if I get 0, I don't know how I'm going to make it through the day. That's fear. You're scared of the next day. So as I already mentioned, you can look back. I've already made it through every single day before. I can make it through tomorrow. I've succeeded to make it through 100% of the days in the past. So I can make it through tomorrow. And then all those suggestions I made for like self-care, breaks, rest, walks, sun, movement, etc. and hydration. The fear that you're going to get fired from your job, that you're not doing a good job. I've yet to have a client that has been fired from their job because they have insomnia and didn't do a good job. If you've made it this far, you haven't been fired yet, you're going to make it through the next day. Again, practice self-care, take extra breaks if you can, do what you need to feel a little bit better, but you can get through another day of work. If you need more help with reframing these, you can go back to the last video. I think is the one that I really broke down the different fear-based thoughts and helped reframe them. So I would go check that out. And now I don't want you to just reframe them all once. You're still going to have those fears. And you can't just reframe all those fear-based thoughts and expect that you're going to be okay and not fearing all this stuff in one moment. Like you reframed it and you're good for the rest of your life. No, you got to keep reframing it over and over and over. Every time you have that fear-based thought, reframe it and then move on. And then you have that fear-based thought, reframe it, move on. And you just keep reframing it until it really strengthens that belief in your brain and you create that new neural pathway. So keep doing it over and over consistently. And with time, it will help you to change those fear-based thoughts and to lower the hyperarousal so that you can get more sleep. Remember, that is the actual root cause of all the hyperarousal. You got to go for those fear-based thoughts so that it doesn't trigger the fight or flight system and your hyperarousal comes down. All the other things are great. They're teaching your brain that you are safe, but they aren't going after the root cause. And remember, if you want to dive even deeper into teaching your brain that you are safe and going into the root cause, those fear-based thoughts, and what specifically for you is triggering your brain to think there is danger, click the link in my description box for my free Insomnia Crash Course. That is it for today. I am starting to lose my voice as I usually do, and I will see you in the next video.